Oliver, the Great Western Engine. He is honestly one of my favorite characters, and when I heard he was going to be in CGI, I was happy. Now, in today's video, I want to do this for a couple of engines, or maybe even all of them. Why Oliver is an enterprising engine. Now, Oliver actually was in the book. Well, actually was put together, started in the book, Enterprising Engines. He was introduced, and his importance started from there. So let's talk about why Oliver is an enterprising engine. Now, to understand Oliver, we have to understand his reason behind him being scrapped. Now, enterprising engines, basically the whole storyline behind it was Gordon was feeling bad because diesels were replacing him. And the book Enterprising Engines came out in 1968, which was 18 years before steam engines were starting to get scrapped. And Wilbert Awdry decided to use those stories in his books for real-life purposes, to show the audience death to these engines are real. Now, why does this push Oliver's character? Well, here's why. Books and the TV show. Oliver was escaping basically eternal scrap. He ran away from his Great Western Railway or wherever he was working. He ran away just so he could find a better place, which he obviously thought was Sodor. He was trying to aim for a place like that. Now, scrapping engines was something that was happening in England, which is the mainland. And that would have been devastating for engines like Oliver. And that's why Oliver is very unique and enterprising. Just because of that real-life basis that real-life engines are scrapped, or were scrapped. Well, are still actually, but are scrapped. And Oliver is a surviving member of these. That's what makes him so enterprising. For him to walk away from being scrapped to now being a really useful engine, that is something. Let's now talk a little bit more about Oliver's character through the book and the show.
Now Oliver and Toad are mended and painted in full Great Western colours. Duck and Oliver are happy on their branch line. The others laughed at first and called it the Little Western. Duck and Oliver were delighted, and so the Little Western it will always be.
After Oliver's repairs, in the episode Oliver owns up, or in the book Resources and Sagacity, Oliver basically becomes overconfident. So Top of my Hat says, "You've been doing so well, it's time for you to learn how to pull trucks." And the engines all basically give Oliver a confidence boost. All the big engines admire Oliver about his escape from scrap and basically how fantastic of an engine he is. This all gets to his steam box and he becomes overconfident. Then he falls into turntable well. A pretty full-on story which now the trucks just laugh at him for. Which brings us up to speed to the next story, Toad Stands By. A story that's really amazing. No other story has this. Well, besides one, but this puts fear into the trucks. Let's just say that.
Scruffy, their leader, led the chorus.
Oliver's no use at all, thinks he's very clever, says that he can manage us, that's the best joke ever. When the yacht is on straps, when the grace is falling, we just push him down the well. Pop goes O'Dolly.
Toad quite has enough of this, and he doesn't like to see his friend getting bullied by trucks. So he comes up with a plan that Duck disagrees with, but Oliver does. Oliver decides to line them up all together and accidentally, because they have their brakes on, destroys Scruffy. Wow, what a twist. Oliver becomes a scrapped engine, an overconfident engine, then goes back down to earth, then he becomes a solidarity engine, knowing his own strengths, and the trucks are now afraid of him, which is something that carries out through the whole series. Oliver is a really enterprising engine. I can't say anything else. The stories just say it. In summary, Oliver is my favorite character. If you guys haven't been on my channel, you probably haven't realized that I create short videos that go on YouTube Shorts, and I would at least say 75% of them are about Oliver. There's actually only 6 or 7 that are about Thomas. That's because I started off with Thomas. Oliver then became my number 1. Well, he has 2 number 1s. Oliver will always be my favorite engine, and an enterprising engine to me, because his stories are freaking amazing. And if the episodes that he's in don't show it to you from any of the eras, well, you're missing out on something. We've just spoken about why Oliver's an enterprising engine. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out my videos. More videos like this will be coming out soon. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.